Okay guys, welcome to week 2 of Making Nations, Making States in 2022. So what are we doing this week? We are going to be looking specifically at revolutions, and I know that some of you, as students from the first year coming to the second year, will be like, we did revolutions, like we've done the French Revolution, all that 18th century stuff, we've done it. We don't want it again. And I sympathize with you, because you already had like 12 weeks on the French Revolution, and that's enough to tide you over for many a year. But we're going to do just a tiny bit more, because of course we want to make sense of how these revolutions are working in the context of nationalism. What's the relationship? How are they all connected? So that is what we are going to be talking about this week. Whilst I jabber away at the outline for this week's session, we're going to be doing different sort. We're going to do one celebrations card, well, one celebrations pack, see what we got going on there, and a couple of classic packs from 2021, Chilling Reign, Vivid Voltage, or the other way around. See what we get, see how we go. So we actually going back doing the card trick. We haven't done the card trick in forever. We've just been doing celebration packs as and when I get a chance to sit in this room and talk to you about history whilst pulling cards. I know that one of you all out there is actually collecting these, so just for you, if no one else, there's some card codes for you. Best of luck. So we will pick things up with the end of the French Revolution and water energy. Water, renewal of life, movement, moving forwards. It kind of works. Anyway, French Revolution, end of. What we talked about at the very end of last year's module, in the first year, was a lot of the political landscape kind of resets, or at least it superficially resets. Big Congress, all the powers of Europe come together, and they start sort of redrawing the map and putting things back in order to an extent. But I suppose the genie's out of the bottle, if you like. Certain things have been let out into the political and social sphere thanks to the French Revolution that just can't be put back. Now, nationalism is one of those things, but of course revolution is part of it as well. The French Revolution sets out a sort of a chain reaction, if you like, almost like a domino effect of political ideas that sort of migrate their way across Europe, mostly being dropped there by French soldiers as they work their way around. Europe, that is. Now, the consequence of that is that revolutionary sentiment is now in the air. People are now thinking about the way in which they're living their lives, but also the way in which they're living their lives in relation to their rulers. What is their dynamic? Do we really like this king anymore? I mean, this particular king is kind of a dick. We don't like him anymore. What can we do? Nothing. Well, hold on. The French kind of showed us that there are one or two things that we could do. So maybe let's entertain those ideas. Now, there's not that much, I suppose, in terms of things being overthrown internally. There are lots of internal revolutions, but I suppose the revolutions that we're going to be looking at are more reverse whale lord. We finally got there. Last card in this pack is non-hollow Metagross. In many respects, the whale lord is way cooler. I'm actually kind of happy about the whale lord. Not so much for the other. Matrix, on the off chance that you're watching this, we'll send that in the post to you. I don't have your address, but spiritually I'm sending it in the post to you. Chilling Reign, let's hope there's better luck there. We'll be looking at places like Poland and Belgium in particular, which are sort of proto-nations, or indeed nations that don't necessarily have their own geographical territory anymore, thanks to being subsumed into other states. We'll be looking at what's happening within those territorial areas as cultural identities start coming to the fore. That frustration with what is essentially external leadership from other cultural groups, other nations. We start with lightning energy. Lightning! The power and the energy of revolution marching its way across Europe in the mid-19th century. That works better. Happier with that. In those instances, you're seeing like a sort of a pushback against a power base. Sorry, for those of you collecting. There you go. You're welcome. A pushback against what I think we can start thinking about as foreign authorities, foreign bodies of power. Now, that might not necessarily have been a huge preoccupation 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. But there is this growing awareness and appreciation for the value of nation. And we are really moving into that point where the nation state is of, I think, probably its greatest significance. That is a state that is formed around a cultural narrative that celebrates, identifies, builds upon the idea that your cultural group of your nation are distinct from other people. Now, we saw that playing out in the French Revolution. We saw it with expressions and cultural forms in terms of the national anthem, if nothing else. But sort of this exercise in highlighting why all these other people around you were inferior or dangerous. And much of it came down to cultural grounds. Now, that's an idea that has been spreading out across Europe throughout the end of the 18th century, running on into the start of the 19th. And, I'm not going to sit here and to get to the reverse. No, not to the reverse. Is it? No. Have I done it right? Have I done it wrong? Are there more cards? No. There's just not a hollow in here. There's just no hollow. Wow. That's like the worst card set I've ever pulled. That's remarkable. No, I'm just double checking. I didn't do the card trick wrong. We did the card trick right. There is not a single holographic card in that set. Wow. Chilling Reign sucked, man. Okay, that leaves us with one pack. Man, the lack of hollow has thrown my concentration. I was like, what was I talking about? Something about Poland. Belgium was in there. Broadly speaking, we were talking about nationalism, weren't we? I'm sure I remember what I was talking about. Spread of ideas. Yeah, so what we are seeing is that I was making the point that nationalism is not the only reason for these revolutions, but it's certainly a contributory factor to them. And we're going to sort of get a sense of the extent to which nationalism is playing its part in that dynamic. Code card for you. Last of the night. Last pack luck, let's hope. 2 weeks into this module so far. Last week's class was a lot of fun. But the card pulls were rubbish, as they have been for this week. We start with Ho. I'm just going to do these quickly and then go back to the session. What have we got in here? We've got Ho, we've got Zekrom. Always got time for Zekrom. We have Xerneas CX. We have Xerneas. That's pretty cool in the sense that, will it zoom? There we go. They kind of are. Kind of. Focus in, you cheap camera. Well, you can see it. You know what it is. That's cool in the sense that I definitely haven't pulled this one so far. This was a gap. So I'm very happy about that. And there's one card to go as well. What have we got? We've got another Pikachu. We got another Pikachu. They're stacking up. But that's pretty cool. Happy with that. That's cool. That's a big gap that we needed to fill. And, finally some momentum in these sessions. Let's carry that on into week 3, guys. Last week, great conversations in class. Week 2, a pretty good pull. Happy with that. It'll do. That sets me up for the week ahead. Could be a lot worse. Could be a Chilling Reign pack with nothing in it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that is what we are going to be talking about this week, guys. We're going to be talking about revolution, nationalism, how they sit together, to what extent nationalism is playing its part in shaping the revolutions that will flood out across Europe and pretty much touch every single thing that we would describe as a nation as we move through that mid part of the 19th century. We'll deal with 1848. We'll deal with sort of the second French Revolution as we move through the module, through the session. And yeah, it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, who knows? Do we have any restrictions left? I don't know anymore. I guess we'll find out on Tuesday. But on that, guys, I'm going to call it a day. We will see you in a couple of days' time. Have a great what's left of your Sunday, and we'll see you on. I was going to say Monday. Well, I'm going to see you on Monday. See you Tuesday. All right. See you then, guys. Good night.